begin. 7-2, rational exponents. So remember I said that a square root gives a half power. We define x to the 1/2 as the square root of x. We define x to the 1/3 as the cube root of x. And we define that 1 over x to the 1 over n as the nth root of x. Therefore, x to the 2 seconds is the square of a half power, which is the square of a square root, which is x. X to the 3/3 is the cube of a 1/3 power, which is a cube of a cube root, which is x. X to the fourth power is a fourth power of a fourth root, and therefore again x. Now, okay, define x to the m over n. We'll define that as mth power of an nth root, or which comes to the same thing, an nth root of an nth power. So for example, 64 to the 1/2 power, well 64 is 8 squared to the 1/2, these cancel, get an 8. 64 to the 1/3 power, well 64 is 4 to the 3rd, that to the 1/3 gets 4 to the 1, or 4. X to the 2/3 power is the square of a cube root of 64. We already got the cube root is 4, so you get 4 squared or 16. X to the 3/2 power is the third power of a square root. Square root is 8, so this will be 8 cubed, or 512. Now we had some laws of exponents for whole numbers. They still apply for fractional exponents. A product of powers means you add the powers. A to the x times a to the y is a to the power x plus y. A ratio of powers means you subtract the powers. A to the x divided by a to the y is a to the power x minus y. Before we had that powers distribute over multiplication, still applies. AB to the x is a to the x times b to the x. So so exponents distribute over multiplication, much the same way that multiplication distributes over addition. A to the x itself to the y, multiply the powers, a to the power x times y. We saw that happening here. X to the 2/3, that's 2 times 1/3, so 1/3 power to the second power. And a negative power is a reciprocal. A to the negative x is 1 over a to the x. So for example, 32 to the 1/5. Well, 32, what is that? 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. It's the fifth power. This is 2 to the 5th, the 1/5. That's 2 to the 5/5, 2 to the 1, or 2. Negative 216 to the 1/3. Well, turns out negative 216 is the cube of negative 6. And again, a cube and a 1/3 power cancel, so you get a polynomial of negative 6. 4x to the 4th to the 1/2 power. Well, 4 is 2 squared. X to the 4th is x squared squared. So a square to the 1/2 power cancels, and you're left with 2x squared. Minus 27n to the 9th to the 1/3 power. Well, negative 27 is negative 3 cubed. N to the 9th is n cubed cubed. And a third power, 1/3 power of a third power cancels, and you're left with this, minus 3n cubed. All right, here's minus 8, x to the 6th, y to the 3rd, to the 2/3 power. Well, negative 8 is negative 2 cubed. X to the 6 is x squared cubed. Y cubed is y cubed. And let's see. Well, okay. And 2/3 power is the square of a cube root. And cube root of a cube cancels, so you get negative 2x squared y all squared. Negative 2 squared is 4. X squared squared is x to the 4th, and y squared is y squared. So you get 4x to the 4th, y squared. 81 x to the 4th, y to the 8th to the 3/4 power is what? Well, okay, well, 3/4 power is a fourth power. 3/4 power is a fourth root cubed. And okay, fourth root of 81 is 3. Fourth root of x to the 4th is x. Fourth root of y to the 8th is y squared. Now, so 3xy squared all cubed. 3 cubed is 27. X cubed is x cubed. Y squared cubed is y to the 2 times 3, which is y to the 6th. So 27 x cubed y to the 6th. Now here we have a product to a 3/4. We have power. A to the half times b to the 1/3 all to the 3 halves is what? Well, first we distribute the 3 halves power over each of these. A to the half to the 3 halves, b to the 1/3 to the 3 halves. Now we use the rule that repeated exponents multiply. So a to the power a half times 3 halves, b to the power 1/3 times 3 halves. A half times 3 halves is 3/4. A third times 3 halves, 3 is canceled, b to the half. I'll leave it at this, although we can rewrite it as this is the cube of a 4th root of a and this is the square root of b, whatever. You have a to the 3/4 times a to the 3/4 over a to the 1/2. Okay, here we add the exponents. So a to the 3/4 plus 3/4. We're dividing by a to the half, so you subtract a half in the exponents. A to the power 3/4 plus 3/4 minus a half. And if you work it out, that's a to the 1, which is a. 135 is one of these, what do they call it again? Look-alike problems. You have the 64 a to the 4th here, 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 and here. We have it to the half power, to the negative half power, the opposite of it to the half power, the opposite of it to the minus half power. So 64 a to the 1/4 all to the half. Well, you take the square root of 64, you take a to the 4 halves, that'll be 8a squared. 64 a to the 4th, the minus half. Well, a negative power means you take a reciprocal. 1 over 64 a to the 4th to the half. We already have that defined here, so this comes out to be 1 over 8a squared, 1 over this. Negative of 64 a to the 4th to the half. Well, it'll be the opposite of this one, so it'll be minus a squared. Here is negative of 64 a to the 4th to the negative half. Well, it'll be the opposite of 64 a to the 4th to the negative half. So it'll be the opposite of this, namely this, negative 1 over 8a squared. So that's what we have for these roots and powers.